watching me. Playing spades with tarot cards, moon and stars like astrology. Reincarnated, so peep the style, homie. Been royal millions of years, they kept the crown from me. Started off in the root chakra, primordial waters. Like walking blindfolded. Everything was dark. Saw the wickedness in the world and all the cold.
Peace, 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 family. How's everybody doing? I hope that you all are having a wonderful evening so far. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of A Way of Life. I am a career and business coach using astrology. And today I'm coming on here to talk about Mercury entering Capricorn. So I'm recording this on Wednesday, which is the same day that I posted the Gemini and full moon video that we'll be having on Saturday, which I'm excited about. But I was really ambivalent about doing Mercury and Capricorn, mostly because I had some other projects that I thought were more important, but after analyzing and assessing the situation, it's actually not true. I made it all up in my head. Typical shit for me on a typical day. But I was like, you know what? I think this Mercury and Capricorn transit is really important because we have Venus in Capricorn. Now, I know everybody is probably sick and tired to death about talking about Venus and Capricorn at this point, but there's so many downloads I'm getting. I promise you, I could be covering so much right now, but even I can't keep up. I'm like, what do I do? So I've just been like writing down quotes, doing my best to write down in the moment what I'm getting from that. And those will be little posts that I do here and there for the most part. But nonetheless, there's just a lot going on astrologically. But so I have all the weekly horoscopes set up, and hopefully I'll be able to work on making some more videos around these things here and there, but I'm just not too sure that I'll be able to. And I think that's about all the updates that I have for now. Nothing else pretty important. All right, so Mercury enters Capricorn on the 13th until January 5th. Mercury becomes more practical. Our thought patterns are going to be more grounded and down to earth, idealistic, realistic with Capricorn. Communication can become clearer. You can become more analytical in your communication and be very good with negotiations here. Mercury rules your mind and how you think. And because it's in Capricorn, it can be very conservative and business-minded. Business-minded really is kind of takes over the entire topic for Mercury in Capricorn. Not just because of Capricorn, but even Mercury by itself rules self-made entrepreneur, sales, marketing, and even some work, daily life work things. And Capricorn can be work too, but more like work, but you're somebody's boss. So like a manager, supervisor, CEO, even something to that nature. And so I think we'll begin to see a lot of these themes over this duration of time, and even in our daily life. But before I go any further, family, please like, share, and subscribe if you love the content here that I do. It helps us get more, the possibility to be seen more. And we'd appreciate your support in advance. So Capricorn is going to help us become more of a minimalist. We'll focus on what we need and not what we want. This can be scheduling appointments, showing up on time. This is a great energy for making New Year's resolutions, especially ones that'll be more grounded for the long term, and that will be more dedicated to achieving with this energy. Both Capricorn and Mercury rule business, so we can be asking ourselves, how can I achieve success and accomplish something, especially something in relation to your mission, your purpose in this lifetime, because Capricorn rules the 10th house, and the 10th house is typically associated with your purpose, your mission in this lifetime. And so I'd even say that anything that you're building, visualizing, working towards, can ultimately be more pieces of that story for you, depending on where you are at in that process of your life. This is also a great time for doing inventory, all those year-end administrative tasks specifically, but any really kind of daily work or business routines around career and business, having more serious conversations, and maybe even like in what way would you like to see your business or your career grow over the next 5 years or so type conversations. Capricorn likes to climb Jacob's ladder. It's the mountain goat that climbs to the top of any kind of status. This can be seen as status, or just any kind of goal. It's all about building, so a step-by-step process in building your ideas, organizing your skills, being aware of business etiquette. So don't laugh. One of those weird thoughts that I get when I'm writing down a lot of these notes, when I was doing this and I got to this part and I thought about business etiquette, I thought about Kingsman. So I was surfing through YouTube, as I normally do on a daily basis, bored out of my freaking mind. And being the busybody that I am, I have to be doing something. And so I typically use that time surfing through YouTube. And I got to one of these movie trailers. Like, I didn't even know Spider-Man No Way Home was coming out in like a few weeks. Now, people who have been listening to me for a long time know I'm a super huge Marvel fan. And I was a bit peeved off. Like, they should have having commercials with, trailers for that. And I hadn't seen it up until that point. And so, of course, I got really excited and I'm watching all the trailers that, are in the thing or whatever. And it brought me to a whole bunch of other movies, of course. And then it led me to do some more research to see what other Marvel movies are coming out. It is the end of the year. I typically do this around this time anyways, because I'm super anxious about when these Marvel movies are coming out, what movies they're going to be coming out with, and blah, 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 blah. And so I ran into the trailer for Kingsman by accident on purpose. And I was like, dude, this is such a perfect Capricorn. Maybe not so much Mercury in Capricorn, but definitely a Mars in Capricorn. So I'm thinking maybe Britain, what is it, England? Kingsman, it takes place in England, I believe. London, England. I don't know. You guys let me know out there. I'm pretty sure somebody knows. Either way, it made me think of this. Gotta be, I bet if I did a chart for England, they would have either a heavy Capricorn rising or Capricorn Mars energy, because Capricorn really is all about etiquette. And when I think about etiquette, I mean etiquette in anything. And you see this a lot in England, where they have there's like a right way to eat at the table. There's a right way to dress. There's a right way to date. There's a right way to court somebody. And they have etiquette classes for all this stuff. I would presume. I tend to see this theme a lot in those movies. And of course, speaking about Kingsman in general, there's definitely some Mars going on there because it's all about fighting or whatever. And so just random topic right off the top of my head. But Capricorn is about etiquency. You know, how am I being a great business person? How am I showing up as someone with status? How do people see me at work? How am I presenting myself on a daily basis as a person of high stature? You know, so these themes definitely could be playing out in some way, shape, or form in our lives at these times, or there are things that we are thinking about or considering about. Now, because it's Mercury, this could be perhaps you thinking about making your social media more business etiquette, your services, you know, setting them up in a more business etiquette kind of way, or your website if you have one, and how are you doing that. I can definitely see these themes, either people are thinking about them strongly or they're coming up strongly for people. Okay, so this could also be like a strong work ethic and or being reliable. Again, having high standards and how to maintain those standards. That's very important with Mercury. And I'll get into a little bit more of that, but Mercury learns by doing and watching. I've talked about this quite a lot after having the Gemini North Node in Mercury. Gemini, which is a Mercury ruled sign. And it's a child. So we learn, when we're talking about Mercury, you're going to want to learn by way of how a child learns, which is watching the people within their environment, right? Heavily. But, yeah, Mercury learns from someone they look up to and by visual. So these are like what I was talking about. I think it was last week I was mentioning how short classes or hands-on classes, things where you can learn right in the moment and do them at the same time. So perhaps even learning something that you already do on a regular basis, and you're taking a short class on that. And I say short class, short courses, certificate programs, even vocational skills trading, things like this are way better for learning at this time, because Mercury doesn't have it has a very short term attention span. You know, so long term things like college and things of that nature really just aren't Mercury's friend. I'm not saying that you can't do it. But typically Mercury's like, can we shorten that a little bit? So I can see that also being a theme overall. Actually really more for the foreseeable future. And Capricorn is all about, So just to go back, you may be wanting to study under someone you look up to, too. And Capricorn rules mastering something by repetition. So, again, having some kind of mentorship, someone that's going to teach you something where you can go back and ask questions to. These themes are going to become more popular by way of how we learn. And this is also the person who schedules their posts and just writes everything down on their calendar, or has a vision board and follows it step by step to a T. color coordinates things, and, you know, again, just very business etiquette. Okay. The downside to this is you can be very pessimistic or don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Mercury is a very fast-moving sign, and in Capricorn, rest assured, it's an earth sign. It's very slow, methodical, not to mention it's in Venus and retrograde at the moment, so it's even a tad bit slower than normal, which can really cause some friction to people who tend to move faster or have like faster thoughts, but yet you might feel like your mind is like completely scattered, all over the place, annoying and just frustrating energy. But I think what this is going to teach us is learning fast isn't the answer. You'll get things done over time, like building. Rome wasn't built in a day, is what comes to my mind with this. And I think we've kind of already had these lessons from Capricorn from 2022 on how to pace ourselves through this. And so this could really either show up as a test to see if you've learned that lesson from Capricorn and Saturn, and having all those heavy planets of Capricorn and Saturn, and maybe even doing some rethinking, revisiting, recalibrating how quickly your plans and goals you meet. So this is definitely something where you're planning a lot more long-term goals as opposed to short-term everyday goals. But just remember that the short-term everyday goals is where you want to stay focused when doing this. This is what you want to focus on the most, because that's what's going to get you to the long-term goals. And that's the lesson with Capricorn. Anytime is about you building status over time, you building financial wealth over time, you building your goals over time, and really, really, really honing in and learning how to deal with that lesson, especially because this world teaches us the exact opposite. We want everything instantaneously. We watch a lot of TV, and we're looking up to these moguls who are getting things like this. And, you know, that's just not the everyday person's lifestyle. And so we're really going to have to retreat from that idea, and perhaps even start learning from other people who are just as popular as famous people, but they're not in it for the fame. And kind of learning from them, taking their short classes. And I know I'm starting to repeat myself because I know that I said that 1,000 times, but I can't stress enough how much more important that storyline is as opposed to the fast life and the instant gratification stuff. All right. What else? Yeah, so listening and learning from your elders, and is going to get you a lot further and more narrow-minded. You could be a lot more narrow-minded, judgmental, and critical here, especially if something doesn't look the par. If you lack business etiquette, people might not want your services right now. You got to set up, again, going back to setting up more business etiquette savvy services. Also, Mercury and Capricorn people are typically related to old souls at a very young age, so having to grow up super fast. And this could also be arguments within business dealings, or even like business dealings in the community. Maybe there's some disagreements there. Your neighbors, I wouldn't say do business with neighbors. This might not be the time for that. And sibling arguments especially around business themes. So yeah, business is definitely a popular topic, especially around long-term goals. But again, we could see that business shops are just super busy, especially like antique shops and places that are cheap, bargain deal places, or sales. People just taking more advantage of sales. You can also feel very depressed from feeling alone. So like having the conversations, I want love, I want to get married. These things might be on your mind, or you're manifesting these things. Or on the opposite end of that, it could be, what's wrong with me? Why am I not attracting business and relationships the way that I feel that I deserve? And Mercury can really help rationalize things like this. But with Pluto and the South Node, I'm going to say this isn't the time to try and rationalize things with the mind that got you in the situations that you might be in now. So I'm going to say seek help, mentorship. Even if that means reading a book, or self-help books, or just like learning somehow, some way from another source. Gain more knowledge and information. Mercury is all about knowledge and information. So reading business books if you don't want to do the counseling, mentorship thing. Getting like YouTube videos, finding people who are having these kind of discussions. Dating. Like, remember I was talking about etiquency. So like following people who are giving dating advice. How do you date? What are relationships supposed to look like? Just find people who you look up to, who you trust, who exude the life that you want, essentially, and consistently watch them, learn from them, take notes. And don't stop there. Then incorporate it in your daily life, because Mercury is a lower level planet. When I say lower level planet, I mean it just rules the lower mind, meaning it's more in your human everyday experience. So take whatever it is you're learning and try to incorporate what you're learning in your daily life, so you can actually start manifesting what you want and your goals and dreams. Yeah. And then Mercury rules short distance travel, and Capricorn rules borders, governments, and different businesses. So it's possible that travel can be restricted. Unfortunately, I hate to say that. I know I've been talking about it vaguely, and I want to keep it vague, because honest to God, when I think about restrictions anymore, it makes me a crazy person. But again, I always say this: if we're having this conversation in the stars about how this could be playing out in our lives, we also have to remember that the government has their own agenda as well. And so we have to keep in mind that our goals may somehow be affected by, these laws and rules and things that they're coming up with now as well, because they are learning just like we are, and they are going to change with the times just like we are. So you always have to keep that in the back of your mind when you're planning. Yeah, so unfortunately there could be some restrictions around travel, or again with the stupid variant, it could be like they're doing a lot of the other things that you can't do it without the jab. And or this could be like transportation, because Mercury rules transportation. So it could be like roadblocks and having to be rerouted on the road in some way, shape, or form. So a lot of construction being done, things of that nature. The government can lead us, like kind of set us up into restrictions in some kind of way with messages or serious messages and from the government. And there could also be a lot of talk about selling and merging of businesses at this time too. I'd be careful for that and watch out for that. We already know Facebook is now Meta, right? So really, 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 really want to pay attention to what they're doing, because these are how you track to see what trends are going to become popular. And the reason why this is important is because you want to know where to invest your money if you're an investor. Which we should all be investing, family, at this time, with knowing that the dollar is eventually going to change at some point. But even being mindful and watching what's going on with these businesses and corporations, because I think I said this a long time ago, maybe about back in 2019, maybe it was 2020 when all this stuff was kind of going on. And Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk were some of the top 2 people who made the most money that year, even though we were on a lockdown. And I say mainly because their businesses were set up in such a way where they can operate remotely. They didn't really need people to come in to do things for them, right? And so with that being said, Jeff Bezos is back in the news again. No surprise there. For I think there was like a storm in Kentucky, I think Chicago, and I want to say it was some other place that got hit really, really bad. In Chicago, not so much as Kentucky. Kentucky got slammed by a really bad storm, and of course they have him in the news for being out partying while people in his business are, now dead. And though we want to acknowledge that's a horrible, terrible thing, but you really just remember 2 things that really, really, that I thought of with this happening during this transit. You have to understand that there's competition right now out there for our employees. And I think for whatever reason, Jeff Bezos is getting eaten alive with that. Probably again because he's not struggling like most people might be. And the same way they do when they're trying to sell stocks is they'll get on there and do some loudmouth talking about a specific stock. Everybody goes and rushes over, buys into that stock, and then people get a chance to steal that money, and then boom, a week later, that stock's doing horrible, goes down, blah, 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 blah. I felt strongly that this is what they might be doing to Jeff Bezos in some way, shape, or form. I also felt like this could be to watch how this goes, because like I said, a long time ago, I said Jeff Bezos is going to be the first company, I think, to have to hire robots to work there. And so I've been watching, and I'm always interested in hearing and seeing what they say about him because of that. Although, if I'm not mistaken, I think Chicago McDonald's is one of the first McDonald's to be completely remote. And they actually don't have any workers. It's just machines in there. Not actual robots, but just machine operated. Which I found very, very, very interesting. But needless to say, I still feel like for some reason it's going to be Jeff Bezos is going to be forced to do that, because they are consistently slamming him for stuff like this. Now, Again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm on Jeff Bezos' side, or that I feel bad for him in any kind of way. This is just like me being the analytical person that I am, and just a feeling, honest to God, that I have. I can't even say that it's astrological, but I do feel, because Jeff Bezos is a Capricorn, right? And so I do feel like in some way, shape, or form that he's going to be the first person to do that. I really, really, really do. All right. And so we could just see more things like that coming up at this time. So as usual, family, I hope that you found this information helpful. I love and appreciate every single